This story, titled, "My Ex Tried to Sue Me for Alimony After Cheating on Me, So I Fought Back and Left Him with Nothing," is one that will leave you shaking your head in disbelief. Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm 31 years old and I live in a cozy town in the United States. What I'm about to share is a journey of betrayal, resilience, and ultimately, justice. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let me take you through how I turned the tables on someone who thought they could take advantage of me. I never thought I'd find myself in such a dramatic situation. When I met my ex, Ryan, I thought he was the love of my life. We met through mutual friends at a barbecue, and from the moment he smiled at me, I felt butterflies. Ryan was charming, funny, and seemed so supportive of my ambitions. I was working hard to build my career in marketing, and he always told me how proud he was of me. After a year of dating, we got married. I thought I had it all, a supportive partner and a bright future ahead. But looking back, there were warning signs I ignored. Ryan wasn't as ambitious as I was. He hopped between jobs and often leaned on me financially, but I told myself it was temporary. He'll find his passion, I thought. After all, marriage is about supporting each other, right? For the first couple of years, things were fine. I worked hard and earned enough for both of us, while Ryan seemed content doing freelance gigs and staying home most of the time. I didn't mind. It gave him time to figure out his next steps. But over time, I began to notice his lack of effort. It wasn't just about work anymore. He wasn't contributing emotionally either. Then came the bombshell. One evening, I got home early from work, excited to surprise him with tickets to a concert. But as I walked into the house, I froze. There, in our living room, was Ryan, with another woman. They were too caught up in their moment to notice me at first, and when they did, the look on Ryan's face said it all. He didn't even try to deny it. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I couldn't believe the man I had devoted so much of my time, energy, and love to could betray me like this. The confrontation was messy. He tried to blame me for working too much and not being present, as if that justified his actions. I packed a bag and left that night. I stayed with a close friend while I sorted through the chaos in my mind. My emotions were a whirlwind: anger, heartbreak, disbelief. But one thing was clear. I was done with Ryan. The divorce proceedings started soon after. I wanted to keep things as simple as possible. I didn't want to fight over every little thing. I just wanted to move on. But Ryan had other plans. When I received his response to the divorce petition, I was stunned. He was demanding alimony. That's right. Ryan, the man who had cheated on me, was now asking for financial support. The audacity was mind-blowing. I had supported him for years, and now he wanted to milk me for more. I couldn't let this stand. I had worked too hard for what I had, and I wasn't going to let him take advantage of me any longer. I hired a great lawyer, and together we started building my case. Stay tuned. This story gets even more shocking. As the divorce proceedings unfolded, I realized just how manipulative Ryan could be. He painted himself as a victim, claiming I had abandoned him and left him with no financial support. It was infuriating. This was a man who had been living off my hard work for years, and now he wanted the court to believe I was some kind of heartless spouse. But that wasn't even the worst part. During the discovery process, my lawyer and I uncovered something that left me absolutely furious. Ryan had been funneling money into a secret account for months, money that I had earned. He had been siphoning off small amounts from our joint account, clearly thinking I wouldn't notice. And to add insult to injury, he had used that money to fund his outings with the woman he'd been cheating on me with. I was livid. It wasn't just about the betrayal anymore. It was about the sheer level of disrespect. This man had the nerve to steal from me, cheat on me, and then demand alimony as if he were entitled to my hard-earned money. I knew then and there that I wasn't just going to fight back. I was going to make sure he regretted ever underestimating me. Armed with this new evidence, my lawyer and I began building a rock-solid case. We gathered bank statements, emails, and even text messages that proved Ryan's infidelity and his misuse of our joint finances. It was like putting together a puzzle, and each piece only strengthened my resolve. When the court date arrived, I walked in with my head held high. Ryan, on the other hand, looked smug, as if he truly believed he was going to walk away with a hefty payout. But that confidence quickly disappeared when my lawyer began presenting our evidence. First, we tackled the alimony claim. Ryan had argued that he was entitled to support because he had sacrificed his career to support mine. It was laughable. My lawyer tore his argument apart, pointing out that he had never contributed meaningfully to our household income and that his lack of employment was a result of his own choices, not any sacrifice on his part. Then came the real bombshell. We presented the evidence of his secret account and his misuse of our joint funds. I'll never forget the look on his face when the judge asked him to explain the transactions. He stammered, tried to deny it, and then attempted to shift the blame onto me. But the evidence was undeniable. His lies were crumbling, and everyone in that courtroom could see it. The judge ruled in my favor. Not only was Ryan's alimony claim denied, but he was also ordered to repay the money he had taken from our joint account. On top of that, the judge admonished him for his behavior, making it clear that his actions had been both unethical and illegal. Walking out of that courtroom felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. Ryan's schemes had backfired spectacularly, and I had come out on top. But the story doesn't end there. In the weeks that followed, Ryan tried to reach out to me multiple times. He sent messages apologizing, begging for forgiveness, and even promising to make things right. I ignored every single one of them. I was done with him and his manipulative ways. After the court case was settled, I focused on rebuilding my life. It wasn't easy at first. I had spent so many years wrapped up in Ryan's chaos that I hardly recognized myself outside of our relationship. But the freedom I now had was intoxicating, and I was determined to make the most of it. The first thing I did was take a long overdue vacation. I packed my bags and flew to a quiet beachside town, far away from all the drama. Those days were blissful. I'd wake up to the sound of the ocean, take long walks along the shore, and spend my evenings watching sunsets. It was exactly what I needed to reconnect with myself and figure out what I wanted out of life. When I returned, I threw myself into my career. Without Ryan holding me back, I found myself thriving in ways I never imagined. Opportunities seemed to come out of nowhere. Promotions, new projects, and even invitations to speak at industry events. For the first time in a long time, I felt confident and in control of my own destiny. But as I was moving forward, Ryan's life was unraveling. Word got back to me through mutual acquaintances that his financial situation had taken a sharp downturn. The money he had siphoned from our joint account had been a crutch for him, and without it, he was struggling to make ends meet. Apparently, his new girlfriend had left him shortly after the court case, and he was now living in a tiny apartment and working a low-paying job. I won't lie, there was a part of me that felt vindicated. After everything he had put me through, it was hard not to feel a sense of satisfaction knowing that karma had caught up with him. But I didn't dwell on it for long. I was too busy focusing on my own happiness to waste any more energy on him. One of the most surprising things that happened during this time was the support I received from people around me. Friends, family, and even coworkers rallied around me, offering words of encouragement and celebrating my victories. It reminded me that I wasn't alone, and that there were so many people who cared about me and wanted to see me succeed. Of course, there were still moments of doubt. The betrayal I had experienced with Ryan left scars, and I sometimes found myself questioning whether I could trust people again, but I refused to let those doubts hold me back. I sought therapy to work through my feelings, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Talking to someone who could help me process everything gave me the tools I needed to heal and move forward. One day, while cleaning out some old boxes, I came across a photo album from my time with Ryan. For a moment, I hesitated. The memories in those photos were a mix of happy and painful, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to face them. But as I flipped through the pages, something unexpected happened. I didn't feel sad or angry. Instead, I felt a deep sense of relief. Those moments were a part of my past, but they no longer defined me. I had grown so much since then, and I was proud of the person I had become. Life continued to improve in ways I never anticipated. I found new hobbies, reconnected with old friends, and even started dating again. I was cautious at first, but I quickly realized that not everyone was like Ryan. There were good, kind people out there, and I deserved to find someone who treated me with respect and love. As the years passed, I found myself in a much better place than I ever imagined. My career was thriving, my social circle was full of supportive and genuine people, and I had even found love again. His name was Ethan, and he was everything Ryan wasn't. Kind, honest, and respectful. He never made me feel small or guilty for prioritizing myself, and for the first time in a long time, I felt safe and truly loved. Ethan and I met through mutual friends, and while I was hesitant to jump into a serious relationship at first, he proved time and again that he was patient and understanding. He knew about my history with Ryan, and instead of making me feel like damaged goods, he encouraged me to embrace my strength and resilience. With him, I learned to trust again, little by little. One evening, as we sat on my patio watching the sunset, Ethan surprised me with a question that took my breath away. "Have you ever thought about starting fresh somewhere else?" he asked, his voice soft but full of excitement. "Somewhere we could build a life together?" The idea of leaving behind the city where so much had happened was both thrilling and terrifying. But as I looked into Ethan's eyes, I realized that the chapter with Ryan was truly over. It was time to start anew. Not just for us, but for me. We found a charming little house in a quiet town by the coast, far removed from the chaos of my past. Moving there felt like shedding the last remnants of the pain I had endured. Life became peaceful, filled with joy and the kind of love I had always dreamed of. But just when I thought Ryan was a distant memory, karma decided to make one final appearance. It happened one day while Ethan and I were out shopping for furniture. As we walked into a store, I froze in my tracks. Standing behind the counter was none other than Ryan. His disheveled appearance and the defeated look in his eyes told me everything I needed to know. Life hadn't been kind to him since we parted ways. He noticed me almost immediately, and the color drained from his face. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then, awkwardly, he muttered, "Hi, Emily." Hearing him say my name felt strange. Once upon a time, his voice could make my heart flutter, but now it stirred nothing but indifference. I gave him a polite nod, refusing to engage any further. I wasn't interested in rehashing the past or giving him the satisfaction of seeing any emotion from me. As Ethan and I walked away, I felt a wave of pride wash over me. That brief encounter had solidified something I already knew. I had moved on, while Ryan was still stuck in the mess he created. He no longer had any power over me, and that was the most liberating feeling in the world. Looking back on everything, I'm grateful for the journey I've been through. It wasn't easy, but it shaped me into the person I am today, stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. Ryan's betrayal was a painful chapter, but it was just one chapter in a much larger story. The ending, as it turns out, is one I get to write for myself. To anyone watching this who's struggling with betrayal or heartbreak, I want you to know this. You are so much stronger than you realize. Life has a way of teaching us hard lessons, but those lessons can lead to incredible growth if we let them. Don't let someone else's actions define your worth or your future. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time.